Okay, copy. Thanks very much. I'm at the dam at the moment. I'll check around the edge of quarantine. What do you got there? Oh, a female Inyala. Oh, I can't see you. There she is.
Across the other side of the dam.
Sorry guys, I'm just listening to the radio here quickly. Copy, thanks very much, Jan. And we got a buffalo bull. And we keep coming around. There's another impala. And then we have more impala and some vervet monkeys on the dam wall. Nice array of general game here to start off with. Our general plan for this afternoon is going to be to try follow up on that big male leopard mvula that we tracked this morning. Apparently he actually crossed over the dam wall here during the day and headed up onto the quarantine clearings. So we're going to head around the edge, start looking for some tracks and see what we can find. I got Brian on camera with me this afternoon, Alex is an FC, and Virm and Mark are on the other vehicle. Okay, let's get going. It's been exceedingly warm today. So, according to that last update I just got, Mvula crossed around here somewhere and went up into the quarantine clearings. So what we're going to do is we'll drive the edge of the clearings and check if there are any tracks coming out. Otherwise, it's always, because it's been so hot today, it might be useful to keep our eyes up on marula trees. You might have climbed up a tree for a bit of cool. Okay. Thanks, Alexia. I'm at the bottom end of quarantine. I will stand by opposite Enger's house on the road for you to arrive. So, just Mark, I'm right here. I've left the dam. I'm at the junction down quarantine. No, I didn't see any incomes with it. Oh, hello, Nyalas. Okay, we're going to check very carefully for tracks along here, just in case. So the vehicle who was last with him this morning said he was lying up under a very shady weeping wattle. To the east of this position up here. Just going to go very slowly on the road to make sure he hasn't crossed. So I hope, Brian, your eyes are sharp this afternoon, checking under all the bushes for that rosette. So it should be down here somewhere. I'm just looking for the tracks of the vehicle coming out. I'm looking for a weeping wattle. I affirm I did. I've got no tracks on quarantine yet. I'm still approaching the junction with Philemon's Dip. Copy, thanks. That would be very nice. Okay, so we've got no tracks coming out. We turn around and go back down the road. Mark just called in, there's a second set of tracks heading in this general direction of young male leopard, so it could be more than likely Kunyuma, because we watched quarantine cross south quite a distance from here, but we've seen how such big distances these animals can move, so it could even be quarantine or Kunyuma. They're the only two young males that would probably risk approaching an adult male in this area. Legs coming. I've checked quarantine from Twin Dams all the way to Philemon's Dip. There's no tracks. Oh, stand by one. I just saw a track now. Yeah. Copy. Just spotted a leopard track. Let's please keep involved. I've got a single set of tracks heading west on quarantine. So we've got the tracks. Keep a lookout, he might not have gone too far because it's so hot today. Just going to check quickly and carefully at this intersection here. So we've got no tracks here at the moment. I'm just gonna have a quick look behind the vehicle. And if nothing here, we're gonna move around and check on the other side down Scott's Ingwe Alley. Because if he ever has crossed straight across, that's probably the best bet of where he's gone, and towards Treehouse Dam. So have a quick look, and then we'll get moving again. Yeah, so we heard some alarm calls on the other side of quarantine, so we're going to shoot across there. Next coming. So did you get those alarm calls? It sounded somewhere like the western edge of quarantine, towards sort of the road down to Candace's house. Copy, no problem. Yeah, I got tracks going both ways. Those look very fresh. I'm just going to go up to this top point here and listen for a second, and then I'll turn around. Where would you guess? Right?
I'm not sure.
Around here somewhere.
Worst case scenario is down through there.
Yeah, we know what it's like in there.
Yeah.
There's tracks going that way. Just go a little bit further forward, see if we can see any unrelaxed animals. Giving us a direction to look in. Yeah. Nope. Did you have a single bark or more than?
A single bar going off about 3 times.
Okay, I'll push back going. Yeah, I know. I only heard it once. I was crunching around in the long grass. The one I heard, I would have guessed around here. Guys, well, I'm trying to figure out which way is up. We're just going to cross across to Mark so you can say good afternoon. So over to Mark, and hopefully when you come back we would have found the spotted cat.
Hi everybody, welcome Saturday afternoon here at Yuma Game Reserve. Oh, I can see a big Nyala bull with the buffalo bulls. We're at Twin Dam and we're looking to see if we can find where a leopard went to. I think we're all doing that this afternoon. The Nyala bull's moving off actually. Way over on the the other end of the dam. A couple of buffalo bulls in the dam. It's a very hot, humid afternoon here at Djuma Game Reserve. Great to be with you. My name is Mark. Being on camera with me this afternoon. You've already met Brian and Brent, Alex in final control. And great to have you with us, especially those of you who don't join us much during the week. Those of you who are here in the weekend, it's nice to be with you again. Oh, a woodland's kingfisher making a noise. That's a sound we're not going to be hearing much longer after this month is out.
Kudu cow.
Pardon?
Kudu cow at 9 o'clock.
Oh, what?
Kudu.
Oh, kudu. Let's go and see that. With Nyala about now kudu, don't expect that we're going to see much of a leopard around here unless they don't know about it. He was in one of these jackalberries this morning. This is a young male, the son of the male that we saw this morning. We saw a big male in Gula this morning. We might get into a better position here. Legs coming. Alex Mark here. Did you follow Mvula to Gary Dam this morning? Okay, copied. So he didn't walk that Weaver's Nest from Philemon's Dip up towards Quarantine. Okay, copied. Okay, copied, thanks. A young male with this kudu group. He's probably only about 3 years old, 2.5 to 3. It takes about 6 years for kudu bulls to get their full horn, so he's still with the natal group. Although I'd say that he is probably big enough to be joining up with the bachelor group at some point soon. We've seen younger bulls with bachelor herds. The kudu cow and the calf both looking at something, and you can't really see it because it's behind a little bush for you. Let's see if I can try and get a bit more forward. But the young Quarantine male was here earlier today. And she's sniffing, she's looking and sniffing. Not too concerned. But I'm going to leave them. I'm going to come down into the drainage line where they are, into that Milwaukee riverbed, and see if we can find any signs of this leopard. It'd be nice to see if he is around there. But first, he might be lying on the sand, not far from it. Just not interested at all. Young male leopard, just over 2 years old, 2 years, 3 months, 3.5 months. Kudu's a little bit of a stretch for him. Not impossible. There is a calf there with them. It'll be interesting to see nonetheless. If he is down there still. Lovely hot day, but we're lucky that there's a bit of cloud cover. It's sort of a usual bank of cloud that hangs over the escarpment in the west, that stretches over the low veld like it does right now. It can possibly make for a very good sunset, but at the moment it's just resulting in a very, very pleasant temperature, a little bit humid. Not hot, not oppressive. Oh gosh, there's a jewel beetle. Please stop somewhere, jewel beetle. Oh. Well done, Brent. Brent found him. We drove past him. See him? So I think the youngster we're looking for here is now sitting with Brent. Brent's found him. I don't know if any of you have noticed it, but just off quarantine there's a place called the Bushbraai site. It's a place where occasionally they make barbecues for guests. And, well, we're going to go over to Brent to see who's there, but I got a feeling that it's quarantine male who was here and he's walked that way. We saw his tracks earlier. We're going to cross over to Brent and I'll come back to you a little bit later and see what I can find in the meantime. Enjoy this for now.
As I said, hopefully we'll be back with a spotted cat, and we are. It isn't Mvula, it looks like one of the young boys. We think it's Kunyuma so far. We haven't gone closer, we just wanted to show you where he was lying before we approached him. Bush. And he's lying on top of the serving table. Isn't that incredible? We'll go a bit closer to him now. Let's get one more shot for Candace, the lodge manager. He's lying flat cat now, on top of the serving table. Yeah, looks like must be quarantine. Doesn't have that double splodge above his right eye. And he hasn't snarled at us.
Ah, it must be.
Oh, he looks incredibly comfortable. Nice flat surface. That's amazing. Hello, boy. So, Mvula is definitely in this area as well. So we've had tracks of both this afternoon. We had tracks of Mvula, and then we found other tracks, which were his. So he's done a incredible amount of distance from when we saw him last night.
Yeah.
It's amazing. As I was driving up there, I even thought to myself, wouldn't it be funny if there was a leopard lying on the serving table? So when you're on safari, what happens here is that while you're out and drive, all the wonderful staff at the lodge would come bedeck this whole area in lanterns, start a nice big fire, and set a table out under the stars, and then it's normally a surprise, and you would sort of drive around, and then instead of driving back to the lodge for dinner, you would drive to this wonderful banquet out in the bush. They do get interrupted from time to time by elephants, lions, leopards. Sleepy boy. So from what I heard, he was found on our southern boundary this morning. And quite often when it's very hot like it is today, the reason leopards like to elevate themselves a little bit, well here on a nice perfectly flat table or in a tree, is because there's a slight bit breeze off the ground, and I mean it's very humid and hot today. At one of the other lodges I've worked at, a young male of a similar age to what he is at the moment was found at their bush banqueting or bush dinner site in the toilet, sleeping in the shade in the thatched toilet. When you put a picture up like that, and you would think he was in a zoo or something, sitting on nice concrete, well built. Squirrel alarm calling, but I'm not sure if it's alarm calling at him. It sounds too far away. Well, he is in an ideal position in terms of a hunting point of view. All those Inyala and Impala we saw in the beginning of the drive, there were more Impala just actually probably 200 meters from here. So there's a lot of food around here. But I think at the moment he's more interested in schnoozing. We're going to come straight back to him. I just got a feeling about that squirrel. We know he shouldn't move too soon, and we're not where that squirrel is within sight of where he is. So don't worry, we are going to come back here. I'm just going to go check. It's not possibly that the squirrel's alarming at another leopard. It could always be a brown snake eagle or a slender mongoose, but he just sounds a little bit too excited. Good afternoon, Kathy from Tennessee. Welcome. Kathy, that's a very good question. Kathy would like to know whether leopards are more active during the night or during the day, and does that do those activity levels change between summer and winter? Kathy, the one thing I've learned watching leopards for a long time is that they can do whatever they want when they want to. But generally, yes, their activity levels are much higher, sort of from the early evening into the night. But then again, they can be quite active during the day. But normally, they are more active at night. And during the winter, when the days are much cooler, they are more active during the day than in the summer, and they do rest at night a bit more. I want to check into these. That looks like, if I was a leopard, that looks like a nice shady spot. What do you think? Under that fallen down tree. He hasn't moved an inch. No one under these fallen down trees. I mean, it is possible the squirrel did see him from a distance and is alarming. But the fact that we know there's another leopard in this area, it's not going to hurt us to have a quick squiz around these thickets and termite mounds. Oh man. Oh no, he's still there. I was like, you sneaky. Thought he might have just leapt off, but there was a branch in my way. Or do you want to go a bit forward? Right to the other side of him. I think it's going to be better from that side. Just have a look. You get his tail. So, if you go a little bit wider, so underneath there, so the one side would be the bar generally, so there'd be cooler boxes with ice and stuff, and then all your wines and whiskey would be around from his front paw towards the end, and then on the right where his bottom is sitting would be the salads and and vegetables, and then the meat would be cooked off to the right, whether you see that blue mosaic there. There'd be fire there, and that's where they'd be cooking the meat. But it looks like it's dinner for leopard for dinner tonight. Oh, he's watching for a grey lurry or grey go-away bird. It'd be quite funny if the go-away bird suddenly spots him, starts alarm calling. Oh, look at that wonderful light in his eyes. Watching that go-away bird intently. Ooh, he's turning his head as he watches it. Oh, the go-away bird is feeding off a brown ivory tree in Shangan. Who can tell me what the Shangan word for a brown ivory tree is? There we go. Brian's going to show you the tree now. And what animals do we see that are named after this tree? Send your answers to questions@wildearth.tv or just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Good afternoon, Gilly from Wisconsin. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Gilly would like to know if any of the big cats purr. Yes, but not very often. The one that purrs the most is cheetah. So there's the grey go-away bird. You see that little movement in its throat there, that very fast movement? It's called a gula flutter, and they do that when they're hot, and that helps take air over the blood vessels that are in the mouth. There's quite a lot in the tongue and in the throat to cool the blood. It's called a gula flutter. Some other things about that brown ivory tree. There's quite a potent alcoholic brew made from it in Zambia. Sorry, go again. Copy. Kay in Northern Carolina is saying marula tree. Yes, there is a marula tree to the right. We're talking about the brown ivory tree, which is to the left of the marula. Sorry, guys, I think you misunderstood my question. Brian, can you... Oh, look at that. This tree, this little tree here that the birds are in, is called a brown ivory tree. I'd like to know what the Shanghai name for it is, and which animals that we see quite regularly here on Djuma are named, share the same name as this tree. And what is that? It's a Shanghai name. And send your answers into questions@wildearth.tv, or just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Oh, boom. Right. Now we've seen the back end of the bar. We'll go back and have a look at the front of the bar. Well done, Ressa. Nkahuma lions. The Shanghai name for a brown ivory tree is Nkahuma. And who is the second one there? Windland also got it right. Well done. Oh. And that's all Alex's fault for asking us to move to the pretty side of the bar. No, I'm joking. Oh, he's back. He's back. I think he got hot in that spot. Oh, her teeth. Maybe we should go around to the other side so we can see his face. Looks like he's thinking about jumping, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's going inside the cupboards and stuff underneath the back of the bar there. Let me just try to go forward a little bit. He's come out now. Popping his head in, having a look everywhere. Afternoon, Tony. Welcome on Drive. Tony's got a question for us. He's wondering what type of meat do we eat and do we kill it ourselves? Well, not normally. Not unless we're really, really hungry do we kill the meat ourselves. We're quite fortunate. We're looked after quite well here. And once a week there's a delivery from the closest town. So generally we eat lamb, beef, and pork, and chicken. Like most people. So there we go. I hope that answers your question. Good afternoon, Dennis. from Spain. Dennis would like to know if you've ever seen an adult ostrich being hunted by a predator. Yes, Dennis, I've seen lion and cheetah take adult ostriches, and I've seen a leopard with an ostrich kill, but I didn't actually see it hunted. Oh, lovely backlight. Have we spotted those parlor we saw earlier? Nope. Good afternoon, Terry from New York. Terry would like to know if there's an African term for the word cheeky. So I think he might climb this termite mound. I just want to get up ahead in case he does. Is he? Where is he? Oh, he's on the road. Not exactly cheeky, but I suppose under the same lines, like almost, he is difficult-ish or whatnot. One of the better known ones, it's referred to any animal that can be sometimes a bit aggressive or just cheeky generally, is mafufunyan. Also referred to people who can be a bit difficult, so we're called mafufunyans or paisans. Looks like he's not sure which way he wants to go at the moment. Yeah, let's zoom around. Hope we don't hit a hole. Sorry, my hand will be out the way in a second. Make it round. So I don't know if you... Oh, there we go. Try a new thing we haven't done before. Reversing in freewheel. Unless he goes that way. know if you can see those big ugly footprints just to his right. Those were mine from earlier this afternoon when I was looking for his for Mvula. Good afternoon, Debbie from New Jersey. Debbie would like to know what languages the guides speak to each other. Debbie, they speak a very bad mixed match of languages, to be completely honest. A bit of Zulu, a bit of Shangaan, a bit of English, a bit of Afrikaans. I can speak a little bit of Zulu, and she also like to know what language I can speak. I can speak a bit of Zulu, a bit of Shangaan, and a bit of Swahili, and also a very small bit of Nyanja and Bemba from Zambia. I love that little flick of the tail. It's almost like concentration. He's seen something, I think. No. Yes. What has he seen? No, now he's not walking like he's stalking. That's a very strange little movement. He sort of went into stalking mode and then out of it very quickly. Ah, he saw a Franklin. He was now shouting at him. Oh dear. He's definitely heading in a good direction to find prey species. So he's almost, his general direction has been straight towards where all those Impala and Nyala were, but also where Mvula was left. But Mvula is left, we found his tracks coming out. I'm sure you must be able to smell his Mvula's scent in the area. Hi guys, for those of you just joining us, We've got the quarantine male leopard here with us. He is Karula's son, and possibly Mvula's, the Mvula male leopard's offspring. Definitely Karula, we know that for sure. But with male leopards, you can never be 100% unless you take genetic samples, blood samples from each of the individuals, because female leopards will mate with multiple males that they might come into contact with in their territory, and actually leave their territory to mate with males. And this is to convince all the male leopards in the area that they are the fathers of that. And it's one of a female leopard's ways of ensuring that she has a less chance of her cubs being killed by another male leopard. And quite often the males will tolerate, the adult males will tolerate the young males to a certain point. Quarantine and his brother Kunyuma are starting to get to the edge of the time when the Mvula will tolerate them in his territory. Normally, as I said, animals don't read the books, only we do, so they can do whatever they want. But normally, from about this age, he'll start getting more aggressive towards them, to the point he'll actually push them out of the area completely. So, the four most common leopards we see here on Djuma are this male leopard here, Quarantine, Kunyuma, which is his brother, their mother, Karula, who's also known as the Queen of Djuma, but I think most people watching know that, and Mvula, who's possibly their father. And so far, those are the only 4 leopards I've seen since I've been here. Good afternoon, Sharon. I'm from Pennsylvania. Sharon would like to know the white spots on the back of his ears. Are those to radiate heat or for camouflage? Well, in males they don't serve as much of a purpose. In females they are part of the following mechanism for her cubs to follow. Specifically those and the tail. FM. Good evening, Jan from Philly. Jan asked, when you're tracking, can you tell whether an animal is standing still or actively walking from the tracks? You can, Jan. When they're walking, there's little signs that. So same as if you walked as opposed to standing still, your heel and your toes will catch ground, so it'll make a little scrape. And it's the same with tracking a leopard or a lion. Well, he's just changed into stalking mode. I can't see what he's looking at. Sal's movements suddenly now are far more considered. Sorry, last station, go again. We had Mvula this morning, last track swim, head in the block, heading south towards the drainage line that runs from Philemon's Dip. At the moment we have quarantine just to the east of Inga's Kaya, and then just Dagga Boys. My timbers were located Torchwood, I think it was at first rock or second rock. And Kahumas were located inside Buffalo's Hook, near Kudu Pan, I think. I can't remember the name of the pan. And I think there were Styx Lionesses were also in Torchwood and the Torchwood Pride. Can you see what he's looking at from up there? I mean, it could be a host of different species from here. See how that movement is just so smooth. And it's so different from when he was just walking. Most animals' eyes are designed to pick up movement, so they try and minimize the movement while they're stalking. So even how carefully he even sits down. Just trying to see what he's looking at. It doesn't look too serious if he's licking himself. slow, considered movements. So your average leopard hunt, the leopard will stalk within under 10 meters before that last extreme burst of speed. I've seen leopard wait 3 hours on a termite mound for the impala to sort of feed slowly towards them. Wish I knew what he was looking at. Be quite funny if all this talk was from Franklin. There's the hippo in the background. Move a little bit. try to see what he's seeing. I have no idea what he's looking at. We can't go. I don't want to go any forward yet because these trees make a lot of noise. We go back. I think it actually could be Franklin. Just where he's looking. Incredible patience these animals have. See, they're not 100% serious. His ears aren't completely flat yet. Still has the odd lick. It's incredible, that movement. Really hope not all this effort's not for a Franklin. And how's that for perfect predator poise? For all we know, there could be a Nyala and Impala on the other side of that thicket that we just haven't seen. Whatever he's looking at is just to the right. Amazing how that tail twitch that's so constant when not hunting is completely gone now. Yeah, oxpeckers close by. I heard something move. Sounded a bit bigger than a Franklin. Whatever it is, it must be getting quite close now, just judging from his body language. So he's no longer sitting, crawling along the ground. Can't see what it is, guys. And you saw how fast he was walking earlier, and now this 5 meters has taken him 20 minutes, 25 minutes to cover. Those muscles are tensed. It's latent energy waiting to be unleashed. So while there's a chance I feel I might disrupt the hunt, I won't move the vehicle. Definitely hear something feeding just on the other side of that thicket. Once he's behind that thicket, we can move the vehicle a bit, because then we're not going to draw attention to him. Hopefully we don't miss the burst that little second, but rather than affect anything, I'll just wait for that tip of his tail to disappear. We're going to lose sight of where he is, but we're going to maybe be able to get sight of what he's seeing or where he's going. Oh my goodness, guys. I don't know if it's the only one, but there's probably about 9 meters between him and that kudu. That is a big prey species for a leopard. Very unlikely you'd ever be able to hoist. It's possible there could be a youngster here. A young kudu, a sub-adult kudu that we can't see. You know, our kudus have those ears that are constantly moving because they spend a lot of time in thickets like this. She definitely hasn't noticed the leopard yet. You see she's still ruminating, browsing, scratching. At a moment like that, he might choose to move forward. Trying to see if I can spot him through the bush. I can't. So there's another moment he might use to move forward. If that's the kudu he's stalking, we don't know. It could very easily be more. Can you even get a rosette through there, through that thicket?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is that kudu he's stalking. Good spot. Oh, she's moving. Because she can move quite quickly without having to take her time like he does in case he sets off something. Now that she's put a bit of distance, he even still carefully checks if there's not another kudu around. Still just see her. That's quite a big ask, Mr. Quarantine. That's a big animal for you. I've lost sight of the kudu. From our point of view, it's the way they've moved makes us following a lot easier. We're in a position now where we're not going to affect either, because we can sort of sneak along parallel to them. Where was the last spot you saw? Where that sort of tallish acacia with no leaves is?
Yeah, towards that one.
The only risk we're taking now is if he decides to abandon the hunt. There's squirrels going mad, but they're definitely not shouting at Mr. Quarantine. Okay, I've got him. You see this thick guy, the buffalo thorn, directly in front of us, the tallest sort of out of those short trees?
Yeah.
Directly behind that. Just picked up a little bit of movement from him. Yeah. There. So I had a brief visual of him still following the kudu. Can you still see the kudu?
Nope. Okay, yeah. Good.
The thing is, she walked quite quickly. I'm just worried he might have given up like he has and sits in front of the car. So he changed direction and gave up on that kudu. The kudu was moving quite quickly through the bush. Quite often leopards will do that. They won't follow through with all stalks. See, he's heard something else. Yeah, stalking the opposite direction now. Not really stalking, are you? Yeah. Yeah. Feeling. If he is seeing something and we try to follow behind him, we will definitely disrupt it. So I'm going to go around. That's definitely far more your speed, my friend. There's an Inyala. Oh, you got him? He's very, very close to the Nyala. So you just see the whites to the right of the screen's the Nyala. And coming into shot now, there's the Nyala, and just might go straight over the termite mound. This is, oh, he heard that little jump. The Nyala. He looks upset with himself. He's like, why did I just move so quickly off? After going so slowly for so long. Oh, spotted.
Flown.
So slowly for so long, and that last second he just didn't go slow enough.
There was only one bark, an unsure bark.
Yeah, he wasn't quite sure then. But you see the tail's up. Running back down here. Oh bugger, I've been spotted. I really thought he was going to get that one. He was just going to jump over the termite mound onto his back. That was so close. Unlucky boy. Just that little hop, and then Yala heard it.
Got too excited, blew it.
Yeah.
Too excited for the game.
Oh, what's he seen behind us? It's just a stalking cat today. Oh, the kudu's moved back this way.
Start and end.
Really, really beautiful evening, and this pink is now spreading right across to the north. We're going to go over to the hyena den and see if they're active this evening. Probably a really nice time to get there right now. This has been Impala Plains and the beautiful view northwest over the northern Drakensberg Mountains, the northern edge of the escarpment. It's got a very long range of mountains, the Drakensberg. Stretches all the way down through South Africa, southwest into the Cape. Well, Bim and I headed up to Buffelshoek Dam and we did cheetah cutline and Gowrie Main, and we did quite a few loops. I found one set of fresh early tracks and tried to follow up on them, but then we developed a hydraulic problem and we had to head back to camp, fix the brakes. We're out again, the brakes are fixed. And well, I think we haven't been around to the hyena den for a while. Let's go check up on the children, see if they're coming out just before it gets dark, because well, it's probably going to get darker than usual. It's quite a lot of clouds. We're not going to get much moonlight, or rather starlight. Moonlight? Well, there's a crescent moon that is setting just after the sun, but there's clouds, so we won't see it. We're going to be looking for that from tomorrow, both from tomorrow evening, just before our fireside chat. When the sun goes down, we might see the first sliver. It might take till Monday if there's cloud before we see the first bit of crescent moon, but we'll be able to watch it over the next 2 weeks grow into full. And that's going to be exciting because it is supposedly, well, it's at its perigee, so the moon is going to be quite big. And the moon is only as big as the subject that you're filming it against or photographing it against. So we have these places where, as you're going to see now, when we get out onto Zoe's Road, where that open area is down towards the hyena den, there's a very, very long view over to the eastern ridge that is Cheetah Cutline on the east. And because we're quite distant from there, if we have a moon rising, it would probably appear quite big and beautiful, like our sunrises of late. We're lucky we're having sunrise at game drive time, so we're able to actually watch that. By the end of next week, we're going to have to stop somewhere while we're on drive to be able to see the sunrise. Will be rising after we start at 6 o'clock. Strange that Mvula hasn't been found, but he's in the area. It was quite weird because we both said Brent was going to go and look for Mvula, I was going to go and look for Quarantine, and before we got anywhere really, we found Quarantine's tracks coming up from Philemon's Dip. Mvula was around Inga's Kaya somewhere, which is Yuri's sister, the owners of Juma. Her house, we call it. The house is a Kaya. Kaya is the home. K-I-A-Y-A, Kaya. So we talk about Yuri's Kaya, Inga's Kaya. My Kaya is in Tibabati. And somewhere there, Mvula managed to end up, because I've done a lot of driving around, haven't found any tracks leading out of that area. But strange to find that one of his boys is there. So it would be interesting as well if Brent stays with him to see whether the two of them are going to meet up. And after the hyena den, we're going to go back to that area, and I suppose while Brent may be with Quarantine Mail, I'm going to sort of be driving around Quarantine and that area. I want to see if we can maybe find Mvula if he's decided to wake up. He's done an exception or a very big walk this morning, covered almost the entire length of Juma, I guess, coming in from Torchwood, walking through past Buffelshoek Dam, along Buffelshoek Cutline, past Gowrie Dam, and now up near Quarantine. So he's in the centre, or almost centre, not quite centre, but western third of Juma. And interestingly, that one of his sons, who was around Twin Dams, actually made, oh, looks like there's all sorts of hyena children running around here tonight. Quarantine male, the young boy. He went south, he crossed over, but he came back, went back to Twin Dams, and now he's back in quarantine. He's been up and down. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to hook up with his dad. Hello children, we've come to see you. I think this is one of the moms lying out here. No sun, a little bit of cloud, so it's probably the coolest place. And the little ones with one of the adults lying here, the cubs obeying orders, staying close to the mouth of the den. If danger should happen, they can fly back in there at a heartbeat. I'm thinking we need to change our angle a little bit. I think they're still a little bit lethargic. It is still very hot, it's very humid. It's one of those perfect summer evenings actually. She can't stretch out more than she is. She would probably love to. I know that feeling when you want to stretch because you want to get air over your neck. I do that myself, stretch my head back. I'm going to just go back a little bit, Liam, because you've got that one branch in front of that cub, and where that female is lying is where we, I suppose in a way, we normally end up sitting with the vehicle. But this way we get to see them together. The cubs in the back, and when she gets up, that's about as best we can do right now. Only two of the little ones. I'm sure there might be more action later. Oh, I got a tick. Go away, tick. Find something else. So normally we get to see them playing on this little log. But that mama's in the way. Okay, we're gonna move. We need to see mama sleeping, we need to see children playing. That's better. As young as it is, picking up the scent of something in the air. It was. Coming to say hello. Look at the spots coming out on this little. So this is the older cub. Most definitely, it's got little spots coming out already. I think the two younger cubs are still very much darker than this little one. If it comes to my door, I'm going to scoop it up and give it a hug. No, I'm not. It's not coming to my door. Of course, I'll never do that. I would love to do that. I'd love to give that tummy a little rub. I think all of us would. But as cute and as cuddly as they look, they're probably a little smelly, and they're probably carrying a bit of bacteria and a few things that we don't want on our person. Okay, I mean, I don't know where little child is. It's not coming out this side of my mouth. It's still there. Just off the front left. Probably start chewing on the car. It's wonderful that the adults accept us, that they don't mind the little ones coming up to the car. We're not a threat, we're not a danger, we're not food. Although it takes the little ones a while to learn that there's nothing that you can chew on a car, because there are times when they do try. They chew tires, they chew anything they can get their teeth into. There have been times when we've operated without a door where I've had, I suppose there have been rarer times when I've had boots on, where they've chewed on my boots. Welcome to Africa, welcome to WildEarth. If you're joining us now, this is our live presentation on a Saturday afternoon coming from Africa. Unedited, unchanged, coming to you in real time. We're at a den of hyenas with a bunch of little ones that, I suppose they're getting active. They've probably been fairly inactive most of the day. The sun is set, night is falling. And well, obviously the little ones have a lot more energy to burn because they don't have to go out hunting all night. And I hope that the other two little ones are going to wake up soon, and maybe we'll see them before it gets too dark. We're not going to use lights on them at all. They're far too young to have lights put on them, which is why it's nice to see them now with a little bit of daylight and whatever settings we can use on the camera to bring it or make it a little bit lighter. Little cub at the back, that was probably about a 2-month-old, and I think maybe 2.5, and this little one's going on probably about 3 months. There was a sibling of the other little one at the back flying down. Oh, what she picked up. Trying to entice the other one into a game. She picked up something. Yeah. There's a question I never would have thought of, and it's why we love questions from our viewers so much. Katrina in Washington is asking a question. The reason why hyena don't have much hair on their faces, is it very similar, or is it much the same as the reason why vultures don't have much in the way of plumage on their faces? I think so, Katrina. I would imagine so. places they put their heads when they're feeding, it would be far more advantageous to have very, very little fur on the face. I think the cats are a little bit more meticulous in their feeding, and well, I think the cats are a little bit more meticulous, period. Having said that, we've seen hyena grooming, and we've seen how clean they are and how much they value allo grooming, shared grooming. But it could very well be that they do put their heads into parts of carcasses that may be a reason why they are a little bit more hairless on their faces. I couldn't live with that. Thanks, Katrina. How's Washington today? Your Saturday? I'm wondering if it's Washington State or DC. Hot. Not going to cool down anytime soon. There's a pretty thick cloud coming in. In fact, we're not even going to see a star tonight. What it's going to do is going to insulate us for the night. We're not going to get chilly. But we need rain. Cold water, hot day. We just can't see them now. And you're as open as you can get it. NDs and everything. NDs off. Well, another very interesting question. This one from Pennsylvania. And an alias. Happy Cub. Is there some way to tell, since there's no real way to tell the sex of these cubs, is there some way to tell by the way that they urinate, the way we can with dogs? And I think my answer there is no. No depends about it. They squat, period. When they're young. Sometimes they don't even squat, they just fiddle while they're playing. Yeah, all three of them out now. I'm going to move back a little bit so we don't have branches in our way. It is getting a little dark, I know, and we're going to have to move along soon because it's getting so dark. And I can't really tell how dark it is for all of you folks out there. Carry on. Hi Sarah. Over to California now. Sarah in California wanting to know if the adults go out hunting, will they leave a babysitter? We find that with the wild dogs, that there's always a babysitter. Generally speaking, yes, there is normally a younger hyena that supervises. Not seeing any other individuals, but because I'm not seeing them doesn't mean that they're not here. They could be lying anywhere else around here, also waiting for the evening to wear on. There is a sub-adult that might be the one that would be chosen. Sometimes sub-adults, younger individuals. The thing is that I guess there are times when there aren't any adults around or there are no babysitters around, but the kids have to be disciplined enough not to wander too far, and it's one of their lessons. It's not one of the lessons, but it becomes a lesson in life for them to learn to stay put and to learn to be more aware of their surroundings. They constantly are being aware of their surroundings. On many occasions we've seen how the slightest noise chases them back into the den, and they often look at the behavior of the adults when it comes to noises or intrusions and what the adults do, and they learn from that. And I guess there comes a time where they've spent enough time with the adults or with the sitter or with the supervising sub-adult that maybe they get to learn enough about their environment that they can be left alone. I don't think it's a hard and fast rule. I don't think it's a case of, are we going out now, and well, they assign a particular individual to stay behind. It could well be that most of the pack are out. We don't really know what this hyena clan consists of. Personally, I don't come here often enough. I don't see them often enough. It's very hard once we're out there and we see the odd hyena when we're out on drive to identify it as being from this clan, although I suppose most likely it is from this clan. But as long as there are youngsters at the den, we don't come here at night, because to come here would mean to put lights on, because we couldn't get here any other way. We don't have infrared at the moment. And so these answers are hard to find, where one clan might do it one way, another clan might do it another way. But you might find that within a single clan, you might find one night they might have a sitter and another night they might not. It is not a strict rule. It's not something that every single night you can guarantee that such and such will happen, because every single day for them is as different as it is for us as humans, or as it is for elephants, or as it is for leopards, or any other animal. None of the animals in the wild have a clockwork kind of pattern to their behavior that it becomes predictable. In fact, I think, if I could say this as corny as it may sound, the only predictable thing about it all is that it is unpredictable. In that you never know what is going to happen. You never know how they're going to behave. You never know what the
Welcome back, guys. We're still sitting here with Quarantine. He hasn't moved much at all. Actually, literally not at all. He rolled over once. I don't know if you can see behind my head where he is. Let me just look at the monitor. Brian's going to zoom in now. We're hoping he does get mobile. There we go. And just see a few rosettes in the grass. And his belly moving there. So the reason, even though that Anyala walked right back past him again, he didn't really go after him, is that even though he didn't use that sort of huge burst of speed, he still expended a lot of energy stalking. So his body would have told him that he needs to take a break. And that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. Good evening, Dawn from Maryland. Dawn's asking, as she looked on, I think, the Arathusa website and saw leopards of Arathusa, and they talked about spot patterns. The best way to actually show you, I think, should have got one that I think we're going to get some focus on this. Will work. Should. So we're just going to show Dawn. If you have a look at the back of my screen here, with a photograph I took this afternoon. The spot pattern they're referring to is this top line that doesn't have any whiskers, not including those. So those are separate. So this side is a 3. And then his other side, there's that button. Ooh. See, now this is would probably also be considered a 3 because those two are joined. Depending, some people might call that a 2. It all just depends on who's doing the ID. So that is the spot patterns they're referring to. The top line of spots above the whiskers. Hope that makes it easier for you, Dawn. I'm just going to move the car so I don't have to keep backing. Didn't even lift his head. So he was quite far from us, and he came and actually lay next to the vehicle, not even about 3 meters from my door, probably about 2.5 meters. I'm just going to move so we can keep the camera on him without me having to move my head constantly. That good, Ryan? Or I can go forward a bit?
Yeah.
Oh, but then we're going to struggle with the lights a bit, I think. Oopsie. Sorry, boy. Okay, we'll just stay here. Oh, heavy eyelids. Incredibly still night. I can hear one Franklin. Well, that head looks like it's getting heavy again. Oh, buff. Flat cat. Very, very still at the moment. Can't hear anything else in the bush. One insect making a bit of noise. it was cancelled, but if you guys still want to do that, go for it. Just to the east of Ingerskaya. Last trucks go into that block between Philemon's Dip, Twin Dams, Weaver's Nest and Quarantine, where that 2-track runs near the drainage line that runs from Quarantine. Yeah, I think Scott was calling it Ingwe Alley. You hear the hippos in the distance there? Flat, flat, flat. Even though he's a very flat cat now, it was awesome to see him stalk and get so close to that Inyala. I really thought he was going to get that one. Oh, silly boy. One jump too many. If he had taken the same amount of time he had taken earlier with the kudu, I think he would have got it. Guys, if you have any questions, you can send them via email to questions@wildearth.tv, or just use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. And for those of you, just in case there's some new viewers out there, we actually are live by a few seconds to where you are in the world. We are sitting in the northeastern part of South Africa in a place called Djuma Private Game Reserve, which falls in a larger game reserve called the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which is open to the Kruger National Park. So there's no fences, the animals are able to move between in a vast open system of about 2.7 million hectares in total, which is over 4 million acres. Copy. Oh, a little stretch. I think it's worth staying in case he does get moving. He might even just head down to the dam for a drink. I know those of you who regular viewers would have heard me say it a few times. At moments like this, the animals can seem a little bit boring, just sleeping. But the way you get to see those incredible sightings, those very seldom seen sightings, obviously the first part is to find the animal, but once that, a lot of people leave too soon, even though the animal's completely flat. The most important weapon in your arsenal of seeing some spectacular sightings is patience. Being able to wait out the quiet times. Which is quite funny because I'm not patient in many other things in life. Fishing and sitting with animals. Well done, Racer. Yes, there was a pearl-spotted owlet calling just now. Evening, Ruben. Ruben would like to know whether there are any lions nearby. Unfortunately, not at the moment. Lions seem to be steering well clear of us for the time being, but that can all change in the morning when we get to read our morning newspaper of all the tracks. The lions are south of us at the moment. Sorry, southeast of us. Well, lions and leopards, in terms of amount of activity, are two of the least active animals in the bush. Lions, on average, sleep for about 20 hours a day. And even when they do move, it's generally in short bouts, about 20 minutes to half an hour, before they'll rest for a while again. And leopards, not that lazy, but they probably spend, I'd guess, around 16, 17 hours sometimes sleeping. When they're full, or they have a kill stashed in a tree, they can spend 23 hours sleeping and 1 hour feeding a day. This here's Whiskers there. Evening, James. James would like to know, what is the leopard's weight? I assume you're referring to this particular leopard. I guess he's probably around 65 kilograms, maybe a little bit more. Mvula, the adult male, is probably around 75 to 80 kilograms. And Karula is probably between 45 and 50, I'd guess. You're a very lazy mister. I suppose he has had a busy afternoon. It was quite special and funny to find him sitting on the braai, on the table at the bush braai place. Good evening, Maggie. Welcome on Drive. Maggie is asking, do I think he'll hunt later tonight? Most definitely, I think he will move and possibly hunt during the night. Whether he moves or not in the next 10 minutes is a completely different question. Good evening, Mike from Atlanta. Mike would like to know whether the cats ever get snake bites while they're lying flat like this. I'd say very, very, it would be very rare and uncommon. If they do get bitten by a snake, it would generally be while they're moving rather than while they're lying flat. Although one thing that I have seen predate on leopard cubs twice now is pythons while the mother's away. They'll eat the babies when they're very small. Good evening, Julia from Houston. Julia would like to know if there are any birds that are good to eat if you're in survival mode, and if you could catch them or how you can catch them. Yes, Julia, there are quite a few tasty treats out here. A little stretch. Franklin and guinea fowl are probably the two most common, and also the easiest to catch. Traditionally, the local people, generally the young boys, when they were out looking after the cattle or in the bush, would make snares to catch those two species in particular. And they are probably the easiest species to catch because they are terrestrial, so they're on the ground, and if you just find some seeds of a thing that they like, you can set a little noose trap around there, and they take those they get caught by those snares quite easily. Oh. Station WildEarth Dam. Evening, Lexia. We're still with this young male, if you're interested. He just picked his head up, I think, when he heard you. East of Kaya. I'll put my spotlight in the air now. No problem. Oh, there we go. Oh, good scratch. He is starting to show signs that he might move. I think Alex made that one up. We might. Just depends what he does. Hello. Alex, I'm just going to keep an eye on his behavior. We might extend a little bit if I think he's going to move towards the dam. Yeah. Copy. Yeah. Oh no, he's playing with me. I thought he was going to get moving.
Just get more comfortable.
So guys, I was chatting to Alex. If I think he is going to move down towards the dam and possibly drink or stalk again, we'll extend for a little bit. But that all depends on his movement. He is starting to show sort of signs of moving, and the temperature's dropped quite a bit. Good evening, Ellen from Illinois. Ellen would like to know whether snakes, baby snakes, are born venomous or they become venomous older. They are born venomous, and then the other thing is, if an animal eats it, is it possible for the snake to bite the animal on the way down the esophagus? I think that would be very, very unlikely, Ellen. But they are born venomous. Depending whether they're an old world or new world snake. It depends on what type of venom glands they have. But most animals that eat venomous snakes will have quite a few of them have enzymes in their stomach that will be able to break down that venom and cause them no harm. Others will just leave the head. And the venom will react differently on different animals depending on their metabolism and things like that. So unfortunately, guys, I think, I don't think he's going to move. I was hoping he might head down towards the dam, but if I fall over. It's been wonderful having you on drive with us this evening, from Brian and myself here, and from Mark and Wiem on the other vehicle, and Alex and FC. We bid you a wonderful evening. And we'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning for us, and wherever you are, have a fantastic evening or day, and we look forward to showing you everything we can possibly tomorrow. Good night.